what's not shared often about self-love is what it can do for you. Why? Why bother with a self-love practice? And it is a practice. This is not like a one-off where you just say I love you to yourself or do positive affirmations and think that your life is going to change. It's a process. It's funny, like I was talking to a friend and we were just saying like, wow, it just is like never-ending healing, right? It's just another layer and another layer and another layer, and it just never ends. But what I have found is that there is a threshold that you cross in this process. And I want to share a little bit about this with you today because I think a lot of us are burnt out, exhausted, depleted from everything that's been happening in the collective and in our own lives. I'm here to really help you re-anchor to a foundational, powerful practice that can bring you back into yourself, and that is self-love. Self-love is such a key to our evolution, to our ascension process, to becoming our best self, reaching our highest potential. But there's actually a lot of distortions and pitfalls that I've discovered. Confusion around self-care, self-love. You've probably heard these buzzwords. You just think you're doing I love yous to your heart, but actually you're practicing opening your capacity on a deeper level into who you really are. Some high-level ancient magic shit going on, just so you know. This is truly the foundation for transformation and ascension. This really is the foundation for everything else.
This is miracle. This is where it begins.
Hello! Oh my god, I'm so excited. Welcome to the opening of the Ascension Keys, bringing to you different keys and tools and love and support and modalities, wisdom and insight that can assist you in navigating the very tumultuous times that we're living in. I'm your host, Lauren Avriel, filmmaker, energy intuitive. We're broadcasting here from Los Angeles, and I've been in the film industry for about 10 years. And now I'm using my film powers for good to open a gateway and a portal into supporting my lightworker community out there. Y'all know who you are. I'm talking to you. Yes, I see you, I feel you, and we're here with you. On that note, I'm gonna bring to you today a healing tool modality. It's the first one that I've been guided to share. When I tuned into it, it was really the thing that was most prevalent that needed to be spoken and needed to come through, and it is a practice that keeps coming through again and again and again. There's a couple of really important keys that come up over and over again, and this is really the foundation of them, and that is self-love. A lot of us are empathic. That means we have a lot of empathy. We're very compassionate people. We tend to absorb other people's energy and take things on. It can be very intense and heavy, and so having that compassion for yourself, being aware of things like burnout, exhaustion, depleted, my weary warriors out there that are like holding it down, and it's just, you know, a lot of times we get really tired of being the strong one. I see you. Compassion fatigue. So this is a phenomenon that happens when you're inundated with so much tragedy, intense news, and just heaviness in the collective. We become numb. We actually shut down. It's like a coping mechanism where we just numb out, and then we really shut down and lose our ability to respond. So it's really up to us now in this time to be shifting and transmuting a lot of those old pathways, a lot of that old trauma. So something I wanted to share was actually how you can navigate these times a little bit easier, of what we can do to reclaim ourselves and move forward. And this, of course, is the teaching of self-love. So what I've come to notice with self-love is that there's a lot of different ideas about what self-love and self-care is. It would seem pretty apparent, but there's actually a lot of distortions and pitfalls that I've discovered in kind of my journey with self-love practice. So what I want to do is I just want to go through this breakdown right now to kind of clarify and clear up the confusion around self-love and what it is and what it is not. Number one, First of all, it is a practice. It's not just like a one-off, like you take yourself out or treat yourself, or you say I love you a couple of times and expect something to shift, and write nice things on my mirror, right? Like, you can do it. Like, all those practices are beautiful. And I feel like when I was first starting out, it was like, I'm going to take myself to dinner. I'm going to write myself love notes. Valentine's Day, oh my God, everything that I would do for a partner, I'm going to do it for me. And I found that a lot of those more material things, while they're great, like the self-care things of like making yourself a nice dinner or like taking a bubble bath, are all really great in different ways. But for me, the core essence of self-love practice that is super transformative and is like the foundation of this ascension pathway that we're unfolding in our evolution is about self-compassion. It is a deeper practice that can really open your ability and capacity to hold space for yourself with self-compassion. It's really about those tough moments when you are faced with something that is triggering you, that's bringing up volatile emotions like anger and hatred and outrage, and your capacity to hold yourself in that space. We use the word love a lot. It can mean a lot of different things, but really compassion, if you can bring that compassion to yourself, to be gentle with yourself in those moments, instead of suppressing the feelings and pretending they're not there, actually holding yourself in that, that's really the magic of self-love and self-compassion and self-care. Because you become your own lover, you become your own best friend, you become your own therapist, you become your own guide, and you actually activate and open that higher part of you that expands your capacity to hold space both for yourself and others. And why we would do it, like what is the benefit of that? The sacred why this is so important is because it makes your life easier. I'm going to say that again. It makes your life easier. When you expand your capacity to hold space, to cope, your coping ability, your emotional intelligence, you can hold space for yourself and others in a more easeful way. Things that used to trigger you before, guess what? They don't really trigger you anymore. Maybe a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with being triggered. It's that self-compassion again, being gentle with yourself. It's okay. But it becomes easier. Imagine the implications of that, where we have a lot of volatile things happening in our society. Suddenly you have a greater capacity to cope with and handle and flow with ease because you've expanded your ability through opening that compassionate space within you. Also know that this is not something that will open right away. Like for me, it's been about 14 years of working with healing modalities, and I would say where I first realized this moment where, oh my gosh, normally it's about that time where I would call a healer and get some support to deal with this traumatic shadow that's coming up. But I'm noticing, because I've already done so much clearing, that I'm holding myself right now and I'm good. It's a transformational practice that really cultivates for us over time. It's like a muscle that you exercise, your ability to bring more of yourself, more of your compassion into everything that happens, especially those difficult moments, really bringing that part of you that is compassionate to hold that space. Something happens, it triggers me, I will go home, I will hold myself in that space and allow myself to cry and scream and, in a very safe container away from other people, so I'm not projecting it onto other people, but have that process and let that energy transmute. And all the while being fully conscious and aware of what's arising and holding it, bringing that love to it. And what I noticed in my experience is that the more I did this, the more it expanded my capacity to handle these things with much more ease. And that's what it can do for you. And that's what it can do for the world. These things that are bowling us over now, that we're shutting down and we're numbing out to the news or social media, suddenly are much easier to cope and handle and flow with when you have an expanded capacity. It really does take years of receiving that support, and we mirror each other. When you have really amazing healers or coaches or therapists or people in your life that hold that space, it helps you really connect to that space within yourself. So you're able to hold yourself and others in a greater way. And that is why it's so crucial in the times that we're living in. If everybody was holding space for themselves with self-compassion, dark stuff arises, you get really triggered, and you release and transform those things while expanding your capacity to be in that higher, loving space. It's a practice that you cultivate, and when you let those feelings move through you and out of you, what you're left with is the pure love essence of what and who you are. And it expands your ability to be more you, the core essence of you, which is always loving, which is pure peace. Number 2. Oh, okay, so this is a good one. Number 2 is probably the reason why most people engage with self-love practice. And that is that it's told to us or presented to us as a way to attract better, healthier relationships and attract more high vibrational partners. So number 2, it's only seen as a way to attract other partners. That is not the true purpose of self-love practice. It doesn't have a goal. Like, if I love myself more, then I will attract to myself a better partner who is also loving. Like, no, that might be a byproduct of self-love, but that's not the purpose. That's not the goal. While it is true that when you key into and fill yourself up and give that love and that nourishment to yourself, you do shift your vibration and you do have an ability to attract higher vibrational people to you. That's not the purpose. So I want to be really clear about this. The purpose is, it's called self-love. It's about the self. It's not about trying to get love from other people. It's actually not about other people at all. It's about you. Self-love is for you. So realize in this moment that you are worthy of love right now, regardless of whether other people acknowledge you or love you or not. The deeper truth is to love yourself because you are worthy of love right now. A lot of people think that, oh, until I love myself, right, I can't really be loved by others. And the first time I ever heard it, it was said to me as, well, if you don't love yourself, then how can anyone else love you? It's like there's truth in that, but it's kind of laced with this other undercurrent of like, you're not worthy to be loved until you love yourself. We can fall into these pitfalls of, I'm not worthy of love from others until I learn how to love myself. You see how that's different and how we can kind of shift it a little bit where we feel like we're not good enough, which is distortion of that truth. So that's not what self-love is really about. Self-love is really about the idea that you are worthy of love always, just as you are right now. And I really want you to hear that, and I want you to take that in. And why cultivating self-worth is such an important part of the self-love journey is not because other people won't love us until we love ourselves, but because there's nowhere within us for us to receive other people's love until we allow ourselves to feel worthy of it. No matter how much other people love us and think we're amazing, if we don't think and feel that about ourselves, then we will inevitably push away and reject their love because there's nowhere for their love to be received within us. That's actually part of the self-love practice and the self-compassion, is realizing that your soul core essence, who you are, your being, as a person, as a human, you are so worthy of your own attention. You are so worthy of receiving your own loving presence, which is such a revolution if you think about it. We are actually taught and conditioned in our culture to be self-loathing. You know, so many of us, it's like we're not good enough. So it really is an act of revolution when you start to shift and transform those pathways in your mind. You begin to decide how you see yourself. And you have that power. That's your free will power to be able to decide how you view yourself, and that actually informs how others are able to see and perceive you. So just some fun little magic of how the self-love practice actually anchors more of who you are. In truth, you are reflecting that back out into the world and it's reflected back to you. It's really so powerful because the goal of self-love is to actually activate your higher self. Because you are actually not the one going through all of this crazy emotion and whatever happens to you. You are actually the pure energetic essence and awareness, which is always a love and light vibrational space that is being brought in to hold that. Like, your true essence is bigger than all of that. So you're bringing love. It can be whatever it needs to be, but you're bringing love to it. Understanding that it's your higher self that's bringing that loving presence, that compassionate space that's bringing love to what's arising, which could be hatred, it can be anger, it can be fear, it can be anything. You're not suppressing it, you're bringing that other part of you to the equation. Really getting in touch with that space is the true purpose of self-love practice, and expanding that space and that capacity within you. If everyone did that, that also expands your capacity to be there for other people in the world and to show up and hold space for other people. And that, on a collective level, is how we transform. Number 3, distortion or pitfall around self-love practice is a lot of people misinterpret self-love as selfishness. fear of selfishness. So fear of selfishness is so rampant in our society. It's part of us living in a patriarchy culture, which is basically the masculine energy. It's very active, it's very yang. So this shows itself as people being very overworked, overgivers, and then depleted, and they're not allowing themselves to receive. This really plays into exhaustion, depletion, feeling run down, feeling tired all the time. I feel you. We are taught that in our society, everybody's a taker, right? You're taking too much. Oh, I don't want to impose. I don't want to, But the reality that I've found is that we don't have a society of takers. We actually have a crisis of receiving. We actually have people who don't receive enough. They're overworked and underpaid. They're depleted. They're tired. They're trying to be all things to all people all the time. And so this is the reality of what's actually happening. And if you start to look and pay attention, you'll see the truth of this everywhere. That, especially if you're doing the work, the light work, and you're working on yourself and self-growth and communities, you'll see a lot of people who are so excited and willing to give to others, but have a really hard time receiving. And I personally struggle with this as well as someone who's fiercely independent. I got it. No, I'm good. I don't want to impose. I don't want to take too much. It's like really allowing ourselves to receive. So this fear of selfishness is something that we have been conditioned to believe, and it's just not true. The truth is, self-care and tending to your own needs is actually essential to health and well-being. So ask yourself, how are you feeling today? What sensations do you notice in your body? Are you warm or cold? Do you need a blanket? Some cool, fresh air? Are you hungry? What would you like to eat? Check in with yourself. Your feelings, wants, and needs are valid and just as important as anyone else's. Because as we all know, you can't show up for anyone else until you show up for yourself first. You cannot give from an empty cup. So you have to fill yourself first, and then you give from the overflow. Energy healers understand this as well, that you don't give from your own energy, right? Then you become depleted, right? You ever have a healer work on you and they're tired after? That's not a good sign. If you are really in it, you become more energized by working with the universal energies, and then you give from the overflow. Please put on your own mask first, right, before assisting other passengers. And I remember having this moment, listening to that going, yes. And the reason for that is kind of like logistically an obvious one. If the oxygen levels dropped, if you try to help the other person first before securing your own mask, you're gonna pass out before you even help them, So it's just, it keys into that truth of yes, we have to make sure that we're giving from a full cup, that we're fully anchored first before we can help other people. So allow yourself to receive and to take care of you so that you can give and share with the world from a full cup. And to boil it all down to one simple, easy, helpful question you can ask yourself that will immediately reorient you back into self-love and self-care is, what do I need for myself right now? Number 4. So this one threw me for a loop when I encountered this distortion of self-love, which is basically self-love and self-compassion used as permission to excuse harmful behavior. Basically, it's this idea that people are saying, well, I did this really harmful thing. How do I love myself and forgive myself so that I can move through it and just continue to do this harmful thing? So I want to clear this up right now. Self-love and self-compassion is not about condoning harmful, destructive behaviors. It's not excusing it and saying, oh, it's okay, I love you, it's okay that you did this really harmful thing. What you're actually giving permission for is to look at the problem and address it. You're creating a safe space, a loving, compassionate, non-judgmental space for these deeper issues to be addressed, where you don't have to feel ashamed or deny or suppress what's coming up for you. So it's not about condoning and deflecting your responsibility for these behaviors or things that are coming up for you. It's actually about embracing them. And compassion creates that safe container for you to look at and address these things directly, knowing that you're not going to be judged, you're going to be met with compassion. It is a safe space for you to explore and look at these things, and we cannot heal things until we acknowledge them. So you can bring compassion to it while still acknowledging that it's not okay that this is going on. And so that's just a distortion of the word it's okay. You're not saying it's okay that you did this. You're saying this is not okay, but I love you anyway. but I have compassion for you anyway, but I'm holding you through it anyway. It's that understanding piece. Keep in mind that while you're having your own process of self-love and holding space for yourself with all your anger and emotions and whatever's coming up for you, it is never okay to use that trauma or anger or emotion as a justification to hurt, harm, or even jokingly threaten the physical safety of another human being. Thinly veiled threats toward other people's physical safety is completely unacceptable, even under the guise of, this is just part of my process. I'm just saying that and I was just kidding. It's not okay. And radical self-ownership of your feelings is what allows that process of them to transmute, not passive-aggressive behaviors, taking those anger and those feelings and wrapping them up in a projection toward another person. That's not how we heal. That's how we amplify pain, how you amplify trauma within yourself, which is the opposite of what you want to be doing. While it's okay to have your own process of holding space for yourself and all your anger and emotions and trauma, it's never okay to take out your feelings or your process on another human being. So, for all my big-hearted empaths out there, just be aware of people using this distortion, trying to spiritually gaslight you in this way, by trying to use self-love as an excuse to justify their toxic behavior and take advantage of your kindness and understanding, and practice discernment around those individuals if you need to. Number 5 confuses the shit out of everyone, including me, so I actually went through this personally. Self-love being misinterpreted as needing to be in a high love and light vibrational state all the time. So you're like, oh, self-love. It's like this idea that you need to be loving and nice all the time. So a lot of people say, oh, I want to attract people of a high vibration. I want to be in self-love. So I'm being love and light. You know, maybe people are abusive toward you. And you're like, it's okay, love and light, you know, but it's not okay. And so one of the key words that I'd like to replace this idea of needing to be joyful, happy, high vibe, loving all the time is the word honesty. It's so much more powerful to embrace your honest emotions than it is to try to suppress them or deny them and force yourself to be in a high vibration. So one of the ways in which we see this a lot, which has always been one of my pet peeves, is forced gratitude. Now, to be clear, gratitude is beautiful. It's amazing. It's such a powerful energy for anchoring realities that we want to see come to fruition and expanding more of what we want instead of what we don't want. However, you cannot force gratitude. I'm going to say it again. You cannot force gratitude. Gratitude is something that emerges naturally in your field when you release the heaviness of the things that have been bogging you down. Your heart becomes glad for something when all of these other things fall away. It's like you reconnect to your true essence. So it's just something that naturally emerges within you when you let go and release the things that are no longer serving you. But if you try to force gratitude and you're really honestly not feeling it, it can feel worse, can't it, right? You're like, I don't know, I feel like shit right now, I'm angry about this thing, but I'm gonna try to force myself to feel gratitude for the fact that I'm breathing, right? Like, how many people have been through that? And it just, for me, it's never helped me move out of that energy. What's helped me is to sit and acknowledge I am pissed off, to sit and acknowledge this is not okay, to sit and acknowledge I feel like shit. That is what has helped me move through energy, to acknowledge it. But while I'm acknowledging it, I'm also holding myself fully in the loving presence, the awareness, bringing compassion. I'm not unconsciously going into a blind rage. That's where we get ourselves in trouble. You want to hold the presence, that awareness, that compassionate space that you actually are while you're processing the fear and the anger and the rage. So you hold yourself through it. That's self-love.
Anyone who's really been walking this path knows, that shit goes down, okay? Like, there is some deep, dark night of the soul type things that happen, right? It's not all sunshine and roses. It's not all love and light all the time. And when we go to that place where we try to make it about high vibrations, being in a high vibration and being happy and loving all the time, it's actually a little bit of spiritual bypassing, right? It's this thing where you're bypassing your emotional body, you're bypassing the shadow, you're bypassing the descent because you just want to get to the ascent. And I mean, that's normal human tendency to want to do that, right? We don't want to feel the pain. We resist feeling those uncomfortable things, but it's really, that's where the magic happens, right? The medicine is in the wound, when we really allow ourselves to embrace all of us, our heart and our mind. You know, we don't throw away any part of us, and we embrace our anger and our rage and our fear, and we hold ourselves through it. That is really the foundational key.
The true master isn't always in a state of love and light vibration. The true master just knows how to direct the energy when the anger arises. If you're in a human body, anger and fear and doubt and shame and grief is going to arise. It's about what you do with that energy in a healthy, constructive way. Acknowledging your honest emotions is such a key. So I would like to propose to you this idea that this self-love practice and high vibrations is less about happiness and joy and more about compassion. Compassion is something that even if you're feeling so volatile and awful and hateful and angry, you can always hold presence, right? You may not be happy, you may not be joyful, but you can always hold that kind of gentle, loving, compassionate space. You can have that empathy for yourself. So instead of self-love practice as this misinterpreted need to be in a high love and light vibration all the time, instead, I would say the key to being in a high vibration is allowing yourself to feel the low ones. And being really honest, letting yourself be honest and true to like, this is what I'm feeling. I feel like shit. That is valid. That is completely okay. That makes perfect sense. Even if it doesn't make sense given the circumstances. I'm depressed and I have no idea why. That's okay too. That's still valid. So validating what you're feeling and allowing it to be exactly as it is part of that magic of the self-compassion, the self-love. I can still acknowledge the reality and the honesty of what I'm feeling in all of its crazy, tumultuous anger and upset, and I can bring me into the equation too. I can bring my whole highest self, my most loving self, my most compassionate self. And that's literally the duality happening of our divine nature and our humanity together. And there's one more little piece that I want to touch on here. There's a lot of misunderstanding. This was something that I really misunderstood early on when I was going through a spontaneous awakening. The idea of crying and what crying actually does in your vibrational field. So what I did and what a lot of people tend to do is they lump in crying with like despair and grief and depression. And they don't really want to go there, and they resist going there because we think, oh, that's a low vibration. Oh, no, we don't want to go into a low vibration. But crying specifically is your body's mechanism to work with and transmute and release all of that toxicity that is built up in your system. Like literally on a scientific level, your tears contain like stress hormones, and like the chemicals of that stuff is actually leaving your body. It's like your body's ability to cleanse itself and clear itself. If you're in a place of fear or you're struggling with something really hard and you're afraid to let yourself go into that vulnerable space of just crying and releasing, know that when you do that, it's an expansion of your field. Like you are actually, when you cry, when you get to that point where you're actually able to cry and release, it's like that still point again where you're getting the release happening. It expands your energy. It actually brings you into a higher vibration. It's the analogy I think of is like washing your windows. You know, like if you're in a car and like the window is all like crudted up, and like imagine the tear ducts or like your windshield wiper, like the fluid that goes on, and then you wash them and then it's like clear. It's like, oh, I can see. You ever notice that like people's eyes after they really cried and released and cleared a lot of this, their field is much more like sparkly and clear, and like their eyes change. Oh my God, there was this woman, I will never forget this. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen, like physically seen. We were at this sort of healing gathering, and I had no idea who this lady was. When I first encountered her, you know, she had really dark eyeliner, really kind of just heavy cloud around her. And we went through this healing, and one of these facilitator, practitioner healers worked with her, and it came to light this information that her son had recently passed away. She had recently just lost her son. It was very intense, it was very deep. And she cried. She had this healing. You could see the healing happening. She cried, like poured tears. You know, her mascara ran all over her face. And she looked up at me and I was like, holy shit, your eyes are blue. Like the heaviness in her field was so dense. I thought her eyes were brown. No joke. So that's a little key to remember, how powerful your body's natural intelligence is, and to allow yourself to emote, allow yourself to release, allow yourself to clear this, self-repairing, self-clearing mechanisms, right, that operate in your body naturally. Let them do their work. And that is how our natural state of gratitude and the gladness in our heart and all of that good stuff just naturally emerges. And also how we expand into a higher vibration. because it's not all love and light out there, and things come up. So, see, we're feeling it. We're, doing the self-love right now. I'm doing it. So an amazing thing actually happened while we were filming this first episode. The topic is compassion fatigue and self-love and self-care. And as we were filming, not only did I have to stop to take time for my own self-care and pause and really be there for myself and hold space for myself with the things that were coming up for me that were being pushed up from this topic, but so did my crew. Even as we were filming, people that were helping on set ended up having to leave to be like, I actually need to stop and take better care of myself. So it's just this incredible thing that we actually practice what we preach. That's exactly the point of diving into a powerful teaching like this, because it reflects to us where we are so worthy of taking that time for ourselves to really take better care of ourselves. And the ripple effect of that can only create better in your life and the lives of those around you.
And it's kind of ridiculous and amazing and perfect that I'm actually feeling compassion fatigue right now. I don't know if you can tell. Just feeling some massive heaviness going on in the collective. I'm also feeling some heaviness in myself, and it's just the perfect opportunity to drop in and really lead by example, that I recently had people on a comment board be like, oh my god, but you have eyelashes on and you look so pretty, so you're just dancing in a field of lily pads and you don't know what trauma and suffering is. And it's like, yeah, every woman on the face of the planet knows it's expected in our culture, and it's also the easiest thing in the world to put on some makeup and some eyelashes and a nice pretty dress and put on a fake smile, and it completely conceals the truth and the reality of what you're really going through. And I think it's important. It's important because, we can't keep going in our culture with business as usual and pretending like everything's okay and ignoring the elephant in the room, so to speak, which a lot of times is our own emotions and how we really feel. So that's why I'm just gonna be really raw and real with you guys that I feel kind of low energy right now, and I'm feeling really kind of some heaviness in my chest, and it doesn't feel great. So I'm just kind of taking it easy. You don't know right now because of editing, but I just stopped a minute ago and had some wild blueberries and nourished myself a little bit. So needless to say, our first episode of the Ascension Keys, we went kind of rogue. The eyelashes came off, the hair went up, food is happening now, so but I do still want to give you some insights. It's just important to be honest. I want to be really clear that it's not just about high vibrations. Sometimes the highest vibration that you can broadcast is just your truth. It's your honesty. That's really, to me, the highest form of mastery. It's not about being in joy, which is a high vibration, right? Love, joy, peace, happiness. But that's really not what it's about. It's about being honest. If you feel anger, be fucking angry. If you're upset, be upset. If you're sad, it's okay to be sad. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's called being human, because we're having an experience right now. There's body intelligence that happens, and it's important that you honor your own process at your own pace, because it's gonna be different for each and every one of us.
So with that, we're going to go right into today's Ascension Key to help you actually experience this self-love practice for yourself and how to do it. I'm going to be leading a guided meditation for self-love restoration, tapping into and receiving and restoring your own self-love from within. This is a restorative practice of holding space for yourself that you can come back to and use this audio for anytime you need to restore yourself with love and feel love now. I will be channeling some soul sounds, languages of light that arise from the heart to help activate your own love essence and help you connect with and remember your own value and worthiness to receive all that love from within, your own inner divine source. It's important as you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and your YouTube to have these moments of full presence. There's this word entrainment. It's kind of like calibrating to people's energy where they are. So if I slow my breath and come into my center, it actually assists you when you're listening to this transmission and this broadcast to come into your center. So I'm inviting you to do that with me right now. And so to begin, I invite you to get comfortable right where you are. If you're listening to this while driving a car, please turn off the broadcast and come back to it later when you can find a nice, sacred, safe, quiet space for yourself to settle in, either lying down or seated, whatever feels best for you. It's about tuning into your own body and your own process. You can also be standing, moving, whatever your body's calling for in this moment. And we're going to begin by taking 3 long, deep breaths in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And on your exhale, just allow yourself to let go of any tension or tightness or heaviness. Just let it go. On your inhale, breathing in peace and comfort. And on your exhale, letting go of tension. Start to tune into your physical body and let yourself be okay with where you're at today. Wherever you are at today is just perfect for you. And I'd like you to imagine a ball of light, like the sun, shining its rays of light, pouring down through your crown, cascading this warm, nurturing light, cascading through your mind, all the caverns of your mind, all the doubts, fears, worries, just washing them away with this golden light. Every muscle around each eye very relaxed as this golden light washes over your forehead and eyes, relaxing your jaw. Easily, effortlessly, allowing yourself to let go of any of the heaviness and concerns. As this light pours now into your heart, filling your heart gently, allow this calming, soothing light to flow into your body, down into your heart, and overflow. And let that overflow out through your heart. Go to any area of your body that may need a little extra love, a little extra care right now. Notice any sensation in the body calling for your attention, and let that golden light flow there. Giving yourself this love and letting the love from your own heart, your own self-love, join with this golden light from Source and fill yourself to overflowing with the cosmic love, with your own eternal heart love. Feel that love overflowing now in every cell of your body. You are loved, you are safe, you are held in the cosmic love of all creation. My love is flowing to you through this transmission. Your own love, which is powerful beyond all imagining, is now starting to anchor back into your body. All the pieces of you that may have been scattered
from the past are starting to come back. And they are filled now with the blessings of love. Allow your own life force energy to come back into your fingertips, into your toes, filling you with vitality. Good. And there's nothing you can do wrong. There's nothing you need to do or fix or figure out. Just allowing yourself to let go and open up to this love that wants to be given to you. And imagine seeing this golden light connecting to the light of your heart, your soul's light essence, restoring to you all the love you give to others, now coming back to you tenfold. And in that self-love restoration, just imagine this light pouring down your arms and into your hands and fingertips, and feel that nourishing and nurturing that you so freely give to other people, now turning inward. Feel your willingness to nurture yourself. What is it that you need in this moment? Ask your own heart, what do I need? And wait and listen for your body response. You could feel a sensation or an inner knowing. Could be a feeling, or you could see a visual. What do I need right now? And let that love energy, that nurturing, start to come through this golden light, through your own hands, and plugging you back into you. Plugging you back into your own heart. Giving that love to your own center. And now on your next inhale, breathe that love in. Taking in as much as you need of this golden light that is there for you. Receiving all that nourishing, nurturing. Fully restoring yourself now. And feeling your own willingness to give that love to you. Your own willingness to take care of yourself in all ways. Your own nurturing, connecting back into yourself. Receive your own love nurturing now.
Yamalata kaye husatar lama hote branna hayalale. Makianu hasata kiandoria mamas. Kianu to korea sotomia na hasemia nuneo. Kimiana usemia nano. Namukale no gyana.
We soothe your hearts. We welcome you to this place of rest. As you allow yourself to come back into all that you are.
Malu.
And take a moment and notice if there's any feelings arising, any anger or upset or grief or sadness. Just notice. Notice and allow as you relax even deeper into your own breath, breathing in peace, exhaling any heaviness or heavy emotion, Just letting all of your emotions be there. And imagine that golden light from your heart, from the sun, from the light, just pouring to all of those sensations, all of that sadness or grief or whatever emotions you've been carrying. Allow that golden light to surround you like a warm hug, holding you and dissolving and melting away gently any of the feelings you've been carrying. Just let it go. Feeling that golden light holding you in love, like a warm golden hug, feeling the love beginning to pour in from the cosmic all, filling your heart and every cell in your body. Very gently, naturally and easily. The more you let go and allow this process, just letting it in. Letting yourself be okay with right where you are. You are loved exactly as you are right now. Regardless of what you're feeling, no matter what's coming up, it's all okay. All of you is allowed here, and all of you is loved. All of you is welcome here.
Makyatali hanuala sata. Imola hala iokasata. Yamo sheteria sakamiono hose. Amukale hatate kiemona yewa.
Just allow the languages of the soul's light to wash over you like music.
Mamia turangale managale la la le la na ye. Mama le la la he mama lo na na ye. Mama le mama lo mama le. Kiuma la 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 la. Kiuma la 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 la. Kiuma la 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 la.
And in a moment, I'm going to invite you to use your imagination right where you are. Eyes closed gently, if that feels right for you. And just imagine that golden light coming down in front of you, shining its golden liquid rays of light deep into your heart. And imagine all the parts of yourself that you've given to other people, places, jobs, obligations. Just imagine all the energy that you've given out to the world, returning to you through the golden rays of this light. Imagine that light coming down from the top of your head, down your shoulders, and pouring golden light into your heart. All of your own love, all of your own energy, all the love and nurturing and care that you give to others is being returned to you tenfold. Imagine that light now. See it, think it, know it, and so it is. Feel your own love energy being returned to you with 1,000 blessings from all the lives, all the people that you've touched and helped. All the love and energy that you've given is now coming back to you. On your next inhale, breathe in and receive all of that love, all of that energy and goodness that you so easily give. Take it in now for your own heart. Take it in for yourself. See that love filling your heart to overflowing, and watch as the overflow pours throughout every cell of your body, filling you with love and vitality, strength and renewal. And then imagine yourself like a column of light, filled with this golden light, this love energy now radiating out from your heart, walking along a path out in a sunny field. It's a beautiful summer day. The sun is shining, and your own heart light is shining too, because you are filled with love from the inside out. See yourself like a beam of light entering now into the world, that you are the love that blesses everyone around you, in every room you enter, everywhere you go. Remember this truth. And as you walk down this path, in this beautiful field of light, see yourself meeting beautiful people, soul family, light beings that are all adding to your light, lifting up together as never before. And in a moment, I'm going to count back from 5, and just let yourself come back down this path to where you began, feeling loved and whole from within. Knowing you can come back to this broadcast and listen again as often as you need to anchor this self-care and this self-love for your heart, and fill yourself to overflowing with all the love that is here for you and all the love of creation that you are a part of. 5, feeling connected now to all that you are. 4, allowing yourself to really feel your body coming back into the room, feeling calm and soothed and loved. 3, moving your fingertips and your toes, maybe starting to move your body in a way that feels good for you, feeling better than you were before. 2, your eyes beginning to open, just allowing yourself to feel totally loved. And 1. Welcome back. I hope that was really healing for you. And to conclude our episode for today,
I'm just here reminding you that you have full permission to feel all of your feelings and to bring love to what's coming up for you. Fill up your cup as much as you can. Do the loving self-practice in all the ways that feel good and nourishing to you and your soul. It's okay to ask for help and receive all the love and support that you need.
Self-love doesn't mean doing it all yourself. It means receiving love for yourself.
It means taking care of yourself, and you can do that in many ways, including sourcing community care and care from those around you. You don't have to go through it alone. You don't have to do it alone. We are here and we are with you. That's it for this episode. I'm Lauren Avriel. If you like this video or felt helped by it in any way, please do like, share with your friends, join with us, subscribe here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That's the big red button right there. It's like a party when you hit subscribe. The confetti goes off. You'll love it. We would love to hear from you, so please do comment with any of your own insights and wisdoms or feedback. How did this episode resonate for you? Share your thoughts and insights in the comment section below here. So I want to hear what people are thinking and feeling. If this video helped you in any way, or if you liked it. And if you feel like you got something out of today's Ascension Key, but maybe you're looking for a little bit more support, some more individualized one-on-one, I invite you to give me a call. Hop on a discovery call with me. I'm offering free discovery calls, and we can talk about what it is that's coming up for you, what your intentions, what your goals are. I bring intuitive counseling, sound and energy healing. We do sound healing with the soul sounds. We can channel messages for you. We can dive in and help you get connected to you so that when you get off that call, you're actually plugged into yourself and your own soul's light and you're radiating that out from there. That's you stepping into your power. You can find all those links in the description below. YouTube thingy, I'm gonna put the link. My main intention with this is to be supportive of you, opening hearts and minds to new doorways of possibility. Thanks for being with us and sharing your magic.
This is miracle garden. This is where it begins.
The Ascension Keys is made possible and brought to you by our angel investor, Helena Riccio. Sending big thanks to everyone who contributed. And stay tuned for the next episode. We have a special guest on the show, Reiki Master Atasiea of Angelic Presence Healing, sharing on the violet flame of transmutation to help you accelerate your healing. Like and subscribe and follow us on social media to stay up to date with the latest happenings here on VAE.